Liberia hit the news.
What is it that we, the Liberian people, want?
The Liberian communities in the diasporas are not left out. That's why Diaspora's Talk is back on your screens on KMTV.
In fact, the United Party is not cohesive.
It is social, political, economic, and other issues affecting Liberia and the diaspora Liberian communities.
I did not expect to even make it to Hollywood.
Joan Cyrus McGee and Nathan Charles every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, live on KMTV, Facebook, and YouTube.
I want to be arrested in the midst of my people.
As they discuss the issues, blend the voices from Liberia and the diaspora Liberian communities.
And speak the truth on what is happening.
For sponsorship, call cell numbers 612-806-5896, 816-433-3979, or better still, email us at usakmtv@gmail.com. Diaspora Talk, don't miss out. When the issues of Liberia hit the news.
What is it that we, the Liberian people, want?
The Liberian communities in the diasporas are not left out. That's why Diaspora's Talk is back on your screens on KMTV.
In fact, the United Party is not cohesive.
It is social, political, economic, and other issues affecting Liberia and the diaspora Liberian communities.
I did not expect to even make it to Hollywood.
Joan Cyrus McGee and Nathan Charles every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, live on KMTV, Facebook, and YouTube.
I want to be arrested in the midst of my people.
As they discuss the issues, blend the voices from Liberia and the diaspora Liberian communities.
And speak the truth on what is happening.
For sponsorship, call cell numbers 612-806-5896, 816-433-3979, or better still, email us at usakmtv@gmail.com. Diaspora Talk, don't miss out. Well, Diaspora Talk, don't miss out. We're right here on KMTV, Liberia's premier online television, coming to you live from the heart of Brooklyn Center in the city of Minnesota. That's the state of Minnesota, indeed. We'd like to say welcome if you just joined us. Today is Monday. It's the 19th day of September, AD 2022. And it's been a wonderful first week. Last week, this is our second week since we returned to the show, the Diaspora Talk, here on KMTV. And you know, I'm not alone. It's with me, Cyrus McGee, and my colleague, Nathan Charles. And Nathan is right here. Good morning, Nathan. And it's a brand new week.
It's a brand new week. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you find yourself. This is KMTV Live. We are back again, and we are everywhere.
And how was the weekend?
Weekend was a Frenchman called Conci Consa, not good, not bad. Work, study, rest, and sleep. Eat good food.
That's a lot to do there. Work, study, sleep, eat some good food because you have to keep healthy.
Yes, and I did not do my regular 50 push-ups.
I hope Brigadier General Prince Johnson, Major General Prince Johnson is not listening. He'll say, my man, you promised this thing.
Yeah,
it's been like over a year on and you're not doing it. But it was a wonderful weekend for myself. We had a great time here in Minnesota, and we had Dr. Cassell with us on Saturday, right? So yes. Saturday he had a wonderful interview here at KMTV, and then Saturday evening also we were there covering the PLP's visit to the Twin Cities, and he explained to the Liberian people, you know, why he was here, why is he touring the U.S. And I had the opportunity to check his legs to know whether
the ankle bracelets.
Ankle bracelets were all, as being widely speculated that he's carrying ankle bracelets from jail and all that. And he clarified his court case, but said he never wanted to go any further because it was, still going through. He was still going through the legal process. So his lawyers asked him to stay kind of off speaking about it a lot. And we also followed over the weekend Senator Prince Johnson. And like we call the shots on Friday, when Rosalind Swakoko Dennis made those startling revelations, against Senator Johnson after her life, because she one of those who opposing his university carrying his name. I mean, looking at his backgrounds, who he is, a warlord, a killer. Those are the words, quote unquote, she used. And she thought that the Liberian students could not graduate from university that could be carrying the name of Senator Prince Johnson, even though he wholeheartedly or fully funded the establishment of that university. So we listened to him on another network, responding to her. But yesterday we got more detailed response when it comes to Senator Johnson and all of what they've termed him. And we listened to him talking about Mr. Cummins of the ANC funded his university's project, where he said Mr. Cummins gave him over 55,000 in total. A first initial contribution of 25,000, a second contribution of 25,000, another presentation of 5,000, which he said was used for their delegates' arrival in Nimba when they were pushing for a coalition. And he talked a lot from his pulpit as well yesterday. And he commented on this quote unquote fit video. We saw that circulating over the weekend. It was a huge one on, was it Saturday that came up? Or Friday? Friday evening. So Friday evening, going into early Saturday, that was the trending issue of a white man without any name, any institution. We cannot play in that video anyway because we don't want to promote, propagandas on our network that don't have substantive information. But it actually blew the public. What of those in Liberia, those in the diaspora, with the fact that somebody will take to the social media with something that the term as a report, illegal activities in Liberia, trending, alleging that the weird government is training people, in Grand Jide, though they there's some of the pronunciations in that video is just laughing but little. They he alleged that there was a training going on at the late President Doe's unfinished compound in Tuzon, Grand Jide County. That prompted the Grand Jide County Superintendent Carl Farley to take a team of media there to see what the compound looks like at present. And from what we saw on that video, that compound lies in ruins. Yeah. It's not even finished. So there was a lot coming up over the weekend. And I'm sure you follow those things.
Yes, I follow that spread, and it is good that these things are verified, because if we are heading to elections, if the peace in Liberia, as you know, is still fragile since Amil left Liberia, and looking at how we have cemented, how we are jealously protected that peace, for anyone to spread rumors, as you know, rumors spread like a wildfire. Before you make up your mind, it's already, maybe there is violence, people protesting in the streets, people killing, burning, arson, attack is ongoing. So it's important that we protect our peace, and information coming out. We in the media, we should be able to have a gatekeeping, and we should scrutinize, analyze, and digest this information before allowing it onto our big platforms. So that's one of the issues, because media outlets, some of them wrote some stories about that situation, how they play on their broadcast without analyzing it. It has created more fear at that time among people. But thank God, the Justice Minister, the acting president, he came up with a statement, Musa Dini,
Yeah, the head of the cabinet.
the head of the cabinet, and clarified that at no time we saw Kalfari in Grand Chita County, because video says the whole story. I mean, some of the mark in the buildings, there were no pathway to say, even people were training there. So that was one good thing that he did, to say, hey, we are dispelling these rumors. There is no training ongoing in Liberia. And with Prince Johnson issue, now, like I said last week, Prince Johnson, he said admitted that he been in security almost 30 some more years. So, and he was clear. He said that he did not, you know, as a matter of fact, he don't know. He had never seen Madame Dennis. He said that, and he have never seen her, and he said he was only clarifying. He wrote her in a text message. He said he had changed. God spoke to him, say, okay, text her, don't call her. So he called her to find out why she was laying this allegation, and and that was the only thing. Was there was nothing threatening that she called him warlord and stuff like that. Like a quote I saw from one of the stories said, he said, and I read, "It is a blatant lie. I have never called Dennis and threatened her for any reasons." So, that's what he said. He said, "I have never seen Madam Dennis before. I do not know her. I only text her to stay away or focus on the issue." So it was like a warning. Hey, I know you're against my university. Stay away or focus on the issues and stop attacking personality. So when we're listening to his clip in his church, and you always mount the pulpit
Mount the pulpit and
to show some
respond
hints
to.
at the same time into the Bible.
Yeah, so that is the comical aspect of it, and then he's addressing these, grieve allegations from his pulpit, and he was speaking about it. In On Sunday he was talking about Timothy, how Timothy was falsely accused, he was prosecuted, wrongly, and all of that, and he just quantified this entire thing into the situation of Timothy. So to see him use the pulpit, respond to critical national issues, responds to allegations, and then he
And he
comes back
called
and
and he
says,
calls some names.
he,
Who
yeah,
are those behind the videos?
he
Who are
did, he
those
did call
attacking him?
names. Yeah, he did call the name of Mr. Cummings,
Alexander Cummings of the
Councillor Jerome Verdier, formerly of the TRC. So we will be playing that video, and we are glad that we reached out to Councillor Verdier, and he agreed to come and speak to us about the allegation, quote unquote, coming from Senator Johnson. Though I mean, we will hear from him himself, and but
let us just tell our audience that Prince Johnson is accusing Alexander B. Cummings of the Alternative National
National
Congress
Congress.
Party and Councillor Jerome Verdier, former TRC commissioner, of those masterminding or hands behind the video, insinuating that training operation is ongoing in Liberia and naming Koji and Zopena and other people. So he was clear. So we brought in Councillor Jerome Verdier to explain why is he allegedly involved in such a video, as the peace in Liberia is fragile. So we'll give him the platform.
We'll give him a platform to talk to us, and give him the time to explain himself and his position on issues in Liberia. And another thing, President, we are arrived in the U.S. We arrived early yesterday morning, and as we were watching the Executive Mansion website, our Facebook page, it was like, I think 5 in the morning, out of 5 or 4 in the morning. There was very early time difference. He arrived. He's currently in New York. We reached out to the Deputy Press Secretary to see whether he could give us a rundown of the president's itinerary here in the U.S. We know that he speaks at the UN on the 22nd. He will be addressing the General Assembly of the United Nations on the 22nd. In that arrival video, I don't know whether you saw it, but I saw some faces, including the Maritime Commissioner, Len Eugene Nangwe, the Defense Minister,
Daniel
Zianka, the Chief of Protocol of the President, Finda Bondo, the Foreign Minister, Team Maxwell Kimia, is also on the team. So I saw the Foreign Minister, D. Maxwell Kimia. We saw who else? There was somebody else. So apart from his kitchen, captain, like Sekou Kalasco Damari, I understand, is also here, along with Smith Tobe, the Deputy Press Secretary, the Press Secretary Asolo Kebe. Those are people who understand in the U.S. on the president's delegation, along with the Commerce Minister, Marwan Biggs. So Mawandis is also on the delegation. Those are people that I can confirm that we saw when President Weah arrived early yesterday morning. So we will be linking up with the press secretary or deputy press secretary, any of them that will want to come on to, give us a rundown of the president's activities. Yeah.
Yeah, and one thing to mention, I don't know what really happened, but on the eve of President George we have visited the U.S. for him to record the U.S. ambassador,
The Liberian ambassador to the US.
the Liberian ambassador to the U.S. Part-time. I don't know what was he thinking, because I'm like, okay, this is the ambassador who's supposed to be escorting you and showing you,
welcoming you officially to.
showing you to some diplomats and stuff, because he has been accredited and he has been in the US for a long time. So on your eve of your visit, for you to just recall him, now even the new guy or chef who has been appointed, he has not presented his letter of credence. So if you go to the UN, you go to other areas, you're going to be depending on Kimia. Kimia has been out of the US for a very long time. He will. So I don't know, probably maybe because of the planning process, but something they need to explain to us, because we are worried. His visit to the US, we need tangible results, not just coming wasting taxpayer money, and with all results. So if you are coming on such a time of such a delegate, and knowing that the U.S. ambassador was relieved of his post, you need that competent person to be able to open doors in New York or Washington, D.C., so we can talk to relevant authority. As you know, there are a lot of issues in Liberia. We need the issue of family planning, the issue of gender equality, the issue of election is coming, peace, security. How can Liberians get aid? The improving the physical infrastructure of our country, education. So I can name all of them. So we hope that this visit will not only focus on his speech to the UN, though other people will see it, but they will also engage other stakeholders to knock those, and so some other support can go back to Liberia. We're talking about scholarship for students, working and the student exchange programs. These are all things we need.
Yeah, so those are that is happening in Liberia. Is the time where he has to tell the world where he stands, where his government is currently at, whether or not he made some marks on infrastructure development, the fight against corruption, the issue of human rights, and all of those, job creation, youth empowerment, because these are the cardinal things that the country is faced with. So this is the stage where he will be, using to tell the public, where the country sits as it relates to the current running, and where we expect to see Liberia in the coming years. So we trying to get with us Councillor Jerome Verder. He's going to be joining us very shortly. When he joins us, we'll bring it on, and then we will be touching on the issues that are coming from Senator Prince Johnson. But we will take this break and briefly play the statements coming from Senator Prince Johnson yesterday during his church service. Don't go away. Well, let's see some technical glitches here. Let's take this one and settle in with Senator Johnson's video from yesterday.
When the issues of Liberia hit the news,
What is it that we, the Liberian people, want?
the Liberian communities in the diasporas are not left out. That's why Diaspora's Talk is back on your screens on KMTV. In fact, the United Party is not cohesive. We get social, political, economic, and other issues affecting Liberia and the diaspora Liberian communities.
I did not expect to even make it to Hollywood.
John Cyrus McGee and Nathan Charles every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, live on KMTV, Facebook, and YouTube.
I want to be arrested in the midst of my people.
As they discuss the issues, blend the voices from Liberia and the diaspora Liberian communities.
and speak the truth on what is happening.
For sponsorship, call cell numbers 612-806-5896, 816-433-3979, or better still, email us at usakmtv@gmail.com. Diaspora Talk, don't miss out. When the issues of Liberia hit the news,
What is it that we, the Liberian people, want?
the Liberian communities in the diasporas are not left out. That's why Diaspora Talk is back on your screens on KMTV.
That is illegal. Our constitution says only a convicted criminal in the competent court of jurisdiction but will not contest. Have I been to court? Am I a convict? No. All they are doing and writing up and up, nonsensical thing on the video and spreading it around the world is to destabilize our nation. Liberians don't support such person. To destabilize. In our video, they said Nigerians are crossing over the grandchildren to destabilize grandchildren. Or they do not want to see the country people come back together. We are the indigenous people in here. They don't want to see us come together. So in that video, they say Nima people are crossing over the grandchildren to trouble and destabilize. As Collins and Jerome Wagner, is that the way to be elected? You got no constituencies in the country? What is your base? So you must do everything to be president. Putting everybody on session. You know what that would call? It's a recipe for instability. It is preferable, just Liberian listening by radio, to go down practically and contest when you are defeated, you go home. When you win, you win. But if you stop people from taking part in the election, you are causing rebel activity in the different bushes. There will be no election. Possible. If you cannot get it right way, down practically for the world to see, and you blacken me and suppressing me, then we say suppression is not good. The moment you do that, I leave the country. Because there will be problem. I'm foreseen prophetically as a man of God. People who want to run, they committed no crime. Let them go to the people and see if they will vote them or not. Why when you go to a different country, put maneuver, pay money, put them on sanction, so you say they should not run. You know why would you do? You will not run too. You will get go to run, your comfort will not go anywhere to run. You will not sleep, you will not sleep. Hallelujah. This is not a threat. I'm a security man who worked 36 years in security field. So I know the possibility. What brings trouble? You don't suppress people. We got videotapes. Where he went and paid money. He's the one doing all of this thing. Collecting money from gay community in the United States and spreading lies. That's why Timothy was advised by Paul to be well. Lie on potential leaders, Jerome Wagner, they are involved. Why you can't come to your own country, Liberia, wherever you can go? Liberians, charity begins at home. All neighbor country people who elected me and put me in for as your leader, I say to you, anyone connected to gay business, don't vote for that person and run the country. Don't. As God destroys Sodom and Gomorrah, God is a just God, God is a righteous God. As He destroys Sodom and Gomorrah, He will destroy any nation. Nobody. He can bring $1 billion for you. not to force your way to become president. They are doing everything. When you started with me, you talk about lies from the book of Timothy. Liars. They collect human skull from other war zones around Africa. They bring it and pack it in the newspaper. The human skull fall on the mountain, and they put my picture there with machine gun in my hand. I'm the killer of all these people. Then they destroy me. But they think that me, they knew I don't have power, so they think that me. They did it to President Weir. They told somebody bought it from a different country, I think Zaire or Uganda, or autopsy. They sprayed the mass stomach, everything that they took it off. They put it and said, okay, government okay. Trying to bring uprising. And these people have American passport. You forget, Liberian people, you forget. Read the Bible, God will speak to you. When you went to the American embassy to be evacuated, only those with American passport were airlifted. When lightning and bomb Auburn City, people got wounded. Liberians took the dead body to the embassy. What happened? They drove you from there. Be mindful. Take care of your country. Anybody who comes to you and preaching dirty politics, don't follow it. You are returned from exile. You are struggling with the economy, struggling with the life. The Lord God says, I should tell you, be mindful.
Liberia hit the news.
What is it?
When the issues of Liberia hit the news,
What is it that we, the Liberian people, want?
the Liberian communities in the diasporas are not left out. That's why Diaspora's Talk is back on your screens on KMTV. In fact, the United Party is not cohesive. We get social, political, economic, and other issues affecting Liberia and the diaspora Liberian communities.
I did not expect to even make it to Hollywood.
Joan Cyrus McGee and Nathan Charles every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, live on KMTV, Facebook, and YouTube.
I want to be arrested in the midst of my people.
As they discuss the issues, blend the voices from Liberia and the diaspora Liberian communities.
And speak the truth on what is happening.
For sponsorship, call cell numbers 612-806-5896, 816-433-3979, or better still, email us at usakmtv@gmail.com. Diaspora Talk. Don't miss out.
I tell you, Diaspora's Talk, don't miss out every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 12 May days, Central Standard Time. And as a matter of fact, those of you on the East Coast, it's 1 o'clock your time, you know. We here in the Midwest, we do this at 12 May day. And my name is Cyrus McGee. I'm here with my colleague Nathan Charles. Earlier on, you heard the voice of Nimba County Senator Prince Yomi Johnson.
Tough talk.
Tough talking one indeed.
No nonsense.
Yeah, he was there responding. And as you know, Senator Johnson always take to the pulpit to respond to national issues. You see him call press conference later? I don't know. We don't rarely see him call press conference like that, like other senators would do, or other lawmakers or officials of government would do, call press conference to respond to national issues. But sometimes, most often, when I know there is something in the media against Senator Johnson,
the last time was when he went on sanction.
Yeah. He talked about that in a press conference. But to see, like other lawmakers, the legislature closed for constituents break, and they were called back. While they were called back, to see him traditionally addressing some of those issues with media is difficult. But just listen to his sermon on Sunday, you get most of the responses from him, from issues arising from the nation.
And I think most of the time he called back in Voice of Gompa,
the local stations. So he's tailoring his message directly to his people. But he made some grave revelations. This quote unquote fake video that went viral on the weekend. He named Councillor Jerome Verdier, former chairman of the East-Wide Truth and Reconciliation Commission, and Alexander Cummins, the political leader or standard bearer of the ANC, as those behind
this coming up. And this morning we reached out to Councilor Verdier, and he was humble enough to say, "I will come." And we're going to talk about this. We have now joining us Councilor Jerome Verdier of the.
Yes, sound off.
Because I've been busy in the background. We won electoral reforms before the elections, so that elections are free and credible. And we've been doing investigations and concluding investigations. For example, the 3 missing boys, the killing of the EPS officer when the president was on his country tour. A lot of those matters were being investigated, and it's like we are done now. We will be coming out pretty soon.
All right, you've been investigating, but let's start up with this coming from Senator Prince Johnson. Over the weekend, as you know, trending was a video that emerged with a white guy with all name, no institution, talking about planned activities in Liberia leading up to the elections, alleging that the WIA government is there training people in Grand Jide to forcibly take the elections, no matter what. And I'm sure you followed that video, did you?
Yes, I followed the video. About 7 persons sent it to me. I don't go internet looking for them. Just 7 different persons sent it to me, and I followed it. Yes, that's true.
So what's your initial response to that video?
Well, I don't know the guy or who put it together, but I think you do have some important information The video spoke about the attempt to rig elections, and I do know that we have been making plans to rig the elections. That's why we will be calling and are calling for electoral reform. On the Elections Commission, Leah has his girlfriend there, and he also has a question of his on the Elections Commission. You know, the elections are in phases. Elections can be rigged even before the election starts. And then there is one commissioner, Seal, who used to be in the IT section, but he was promoted to be a commissioner to give him more authority over the IT section so that he can manipulate the results. And he had publicly said his job on the commission is to give Leah a second term.
Do you have that on record?
I'm an investigator. People at the Elections Commission, don't call him at the Elections Commission and ask them. The commissioner CEO said that his mission on the Elections Commission is to make George Weah a second term president. Call anybody you know at the Elections Commission and ask them about CEO, that commissioner. You know, and they are determined to rig the elections. And 2 months ago, I came out and I was on radio in Liberia that the Liberian people should arm themselves in self-defense. Because what we are doing is training, putting together a militia. I didn't say where they are training, I don't know where they are training. But the militia has grown up to 8,000. So Liberian people should get ready to defend themselves. The purpose of the militia was when Liberian people turned against him, when he reached the elections, or he is defeated, he will refuse to step down, he will refuse to give up power, and he will use the militia to intimidate and coerce the Liberian people into submission. So the Liberian people should be prepared to arm themselves in self-defense.
This could be a tough claim you're making here, Councilor Verdier. And with the fact that what Liberia went through, this is one thing that Liberians don't want to hear.
Well, Liberians don't want the truth. That's what you're trying to tell me. Do you know that in 1980 we killed distinguished members of our society for several reasons, from rampant corruption to abuse of power and abuse of office? Do you know that those same reasons why we had a military coup in 1990, in 1980, is still existing in Liberia today? Do you know that the TRC was organized to address the root causes of the conflict in Liberia, and the TRC identified those root causes and made recommendations? Do you know that today the recommendations of the TRC are being ignored and not touched because those who have the authority do not want to see that change, do not want to see a new Liberia. They want to continue the old Liberia, corruption, abuse of power, and all of that. Those are the root causes of conflict, not what I say or what I identify that is happening in Liberia that will cause conflict in Liberia. If you say people are afraid, fine. Yes, people are afraid. There are some people who are genuinely afraid. And that's part of the reason why they voted Mr. Taylor. There are some people who are genuinely afraid because they don't understand what is going on. But there are some people who want to just protect their interests. So that's why they are against the TRC.
So owing
to interest and to protect themselves, yes.
Owing to what you're saying, somebody listening or watching may say that this confirms what Senator Prince Johnson alleged on Sunday yesterday, that he named you and Mr. Cummings as those behind this propaganda video.
Firstly, why should I do propaganda when I'm speaking my mind freely? I am not a politician. I don't do propaganda. I have no connections with Mr. Cummings. I have gone on air, radio, and television in Liberia that the Liberian people should not vote for Mr. Weah because they have tried him for one term and he has failed. And in fact, Weah is not pleased with the Liberian people because he knows the elections are rigged in his favor by Eddie Justin Sirleaf. And so he doesn't care about the Liberian people, so they shouldn't vote for him. I have told the Liberian people, and that's the message that I'm carrying, that look in the opposition, vote for any of those individuals. Ambassador Boycott, Honorable Cummings, Councilor Gonglu, or I don't see him again, the other fellow who came on the scene. I've told the Liberian people, vote for any one of them, or a combination of them, but don't vote for Weah. If you vote for Weah, nothing will change. We will go down deeper, people will suffer more, people will get poorer, and more people will die the way they have been dying under President, the so-called President Weah. Okay, and I'm coming up with a report on that. People who have died, and cases in which the government is involved, people, government-sponsored killings, they earn it. They earn it. The EPS officer, whom they said shot himself 3 times. And today they have not released the death certificate. The widow does not have the death certificate. Where is she? She had to run out of Liberia because we were telling her I wanted to kill her. They offered her 10,000 to go on air and say her husband committed suicide. She said, I would be the greatest fool. And she ran out of the country. And it's just one case. There are several other cases. So why would I resort to propaganda when I have access to the media like I'm talking to you guys now? And I've done so on Spoon, I've done so on Fabric and different radio stations in Liberia. And I'm campaigning, that's my voice, telling the Liberian people, don't vote for this man. This man has been working with his feet, he has to work with his head. But look in the opposition, this time we are blessed. In past times, we had no choice to choose the person that we chose. But now we have choice to choose between 4 distinguished individuals.
And who are those?
Honorable Joseph Boycott, he has been in public service for long, and he has been a vice president. He's the most senior statesman in Liberia, and he has come closer to the presidency than any other person. I was telling the Liberian who vote for Mr. Boycott. Or vote for Councilor Gongolo. Councilor Gongolo is a professional man, so he is disciplined. We need technocrats to change Liberia around. You can vote for Councilor Gongolo if you don't want to vote for Honorable Boycott, for PB Boycott. And they are appointed to kindness. Okay? With all the issues with all these people, they are all professionals who have distinguished themselves in their respective fields of choosing. So we can choose any one of them to make them president. Not somebody who doesn't know anything. Apart from what the programs have Liberia done this about football. You're a footballing president. You have won all the awards, and you are president of Liberia and actually go second rank in any competition. What does it tell us?
Now, how long are you prepared to carry out this style of campaigning against the Weah's government?
As far as election is concerned, I'm going to be involved. I intend to even go to the country. But that's my contribution.
Prince Johnson did challenge. Why are you still out and bad mouth uniting the country?
It's a question of security. Security is between God and myself. It doesn't rest on what Prince Johnson thinks. Prince Johnson knows. And when I heard Swakubu talking about him, I experienced that. He called me before I midnight to issue threats when I was in Liberia. And you know, I defied him. I told him, you cannot call me at midnight. Why are you calling my phone to threaten me and talking about, you know where I am and all of that kind of nonsense? He knows. President, who is Prince Johnson? Normally, I don't respond to Mr. Prince Johnson, but out of respect to your platform, your media is very respectable, and I admire the work you do in Liberia. And out of respect to this diaspora platform, I came. Prince Yomi Johnson is the most notorious perpetrator in Liberia. If you don't know that, the TRC report documented his crimes. He committed more crimes than even his warring faction and other warring factions. Personally, he's a killer and a murderer. That's the kind of person he is. And if you look at him, he said he opened a church. It tells you this man is not sound. He's haunted by the ghost.
He could be transformed. Even the Bible says, confess your sins, and the Lord is waiting to forgive
so has he ever confessed his sin? Have you heard him confessing his sin? He didn't do it at the TRC. Have you heard him? Have you ever heard him? But the kid came forward, and all the perpetrators came forward and confessed their sins. Is this so-called man of God, has he confessed his sin? So he hasn't. So it tells you he's living with the demons. He hasn't opened up to Christianity. I'm a Christian, I'm a vowed Christian. A born again Christian, I know what it is to forgive a sinner. But has this one acknowledged his wrong and confessed his sin? He hasn't. Okay. So that's the man, Prince Johnson. So that's why I don't even bother with it. It doesn't even make sense when he talks. And you guys were talking about him holding press conference. He used the podium in that so-called church, where maybe it's the house of God. I have no right to condemn that. And he just talks. He doesn't hold press conference where you engage with journalists. He calls on the radio occasionally, and he doesn't want the person in studio to question him. And now he says he has a school. Scrappy is against it. What kind of school is that?
Are you also against the institution carrying the name of his founder, largest donor and the owner of it, providing education to young Liberians in that region?
That name, the most notorious perpetrator in Liberia, who killed several people. I went to see who will go there and graduate and want to compete with other universities in Liberia.
Okay.
And our Commission on Higher Education should not even recognize it. The man doesn't have the pedigree to own a school.
The legislature already looked into that, granted him, the higher education status through the legislature, and that's something that the higher commission will have to follow.
Well, let's see if they do that. That's the nature of governance in Liberia, my person. Okay. Nothing goes on right. Nothing is straight. Is there anything right about Liberia at the moment, as far as governance is concerned?
There is no borrow the guns, somebody would say.
Okay, that's fine.
You have talking, Councillor Verda.
We thank God for that.
Freedom of speech.
The guns are silenced over years. That is something that started since the early 90s, when the guns were silenced. So we try to build on freedom of speech. I'm talking about in terms of governance.
Councillor Verda, you made a very strong. My name is Nathan Charles. You made a very strong allegation concerning officials at the National Elections Commission. You named Asanya. You also said President Weah has what you term as his girlfriend, and you also said that Liberians should be ready to protect themselves. Are you also sending this sensitive information because you claim to be an investigator to other diplomatic partners?
Well, when I speak, the entire world hears it. The embassies in Liberia take note of everything that goes on in Liberia, and that communicates directly with our diplomatic partners and say this, but I'm preparing a package for electoral reform, which is necessary before elections. It was presented 2 years ago to the legislature. They haven't said anything about it. So I'm going to update it and present it to the international community. One of the things we are requesting, they are talking about it now, the biometric. Mm-hmm. There should be, a biometric system to make sure that fraud during the electoral process is minimized.
Do you think that is welcoming?
I would welcome it. The Elections Commission has to be prepared to do it. And for this, I know they are not prepared yet. And they will need a lot of assistance. And this should be the first thing that should happen before elections should be the census. You cannot have elections without census.
We understand the census. The census is about to kick off very soon. Is it timely with election just a little over a year?
A census cannot even be conducted within the time frame. So they are just trying to joke and play with it because they know that we have sent vibes to them also. That look, these are some of the conditions that are necessary for elections. And the president or the executive seems to be undermining the census process by directly empowering people to steal the funds that's necessary for holding the census. In the first place, you have to do awareness. You have to educate the people for at least 6 months on the census process. That has not even started. And talking about studies, and where are the logistics for conducting the census? They haven't even started yet. So they want to do something a haphazard process, and then in the end, they say they are ready for census. And now you know that the different districts are delineated based upon the census results. So we have first-time voters. We expect to have new constituencies, new districts, and all of that. And some districts, because they have lost populations, may be eliminated or they will be amalgamized to another area to have their new district. All of those things will take place, and it doesn't even take 1 year to do that. 1 year is not even sufficient. We need more than 1 year. And a comprehensive census process, from my estimation, takes 2 years. After collecting all the results, they have to be collated, analyzed, codified, printed, and presented to the national legislature in the people of Liberia. When it's accepted, then we start the process of demarcating new constituencies and changing voter lines based upon the census results. The census is a tool for economic and financial planning, demographic planning, population movement, population control, and all of that. It's not just for elections. So we need 2 years to do the census if you want to do a good work. But if you just want to do census for electoral purposes, then it's wrong. It's not just for elections. We won't have a census until 10 years from now. Based upon the results of the census, you can plan the country. You can do budgeting on what is needed most in these districts and these new districts and all of that. And unfortunately, nothing was done. So we cannot even hold a credible elections in the absence of the census.
All right.
So the government is not prepared for the census. They are not prepared for a credible elections. And the we government has demonstrated that it cannot manage itself. Look at the financial records and history of the government. Look at the human rights records and history of the government. And besides, I have been on record for more than 2 years saying publicly, I'm in Washington campaigning for sanctions. Even before, if Mr. Cummings have ever spoken about it.
So are you restating that you are campaigning for sanctions for Liberia?
It's something I said even on VOA. That's the reason why I was in DC. Yes.
Are you taking into consideration the effect we had sanctions before during the regime of President Taylor? We all know what Liberia went through. We all know what it took to get sanctions lifted from Liberia. So what kind are you pushing for?
We are advocating for targeted sanctions against rogue individuals in public service, corrupt government officials, and human rights violators. And the American government has agreed to that. The American government wants to impose sanctions on Liberia. What does it take? But that's not a goal, that's not the intention, and that's not the purpose. It's targeted individuals targeted sanctions on individuals who have proved to be betrayers of the public trust, that they are using their office for personal gain through corruption and human rights violations.
What level? What level are you working with people out here to make sure this happen? At what level are you providing them sensitive information that you may have had? I know Senator Johnson alleged that you allegedly stole some records from the TRC reports. Do you still have them? Did you take them?
Okay, how can I steal records from the TRC report when I produced the records? What is he talking about? I didn't bring anything from the TRC report when I was living in America. I mean, I live in Liberia. I left with my laptop and we published the reports. The legislature, I think about 52 copies of the report was given to the legislature. Comprehensive, everything is there. Anything he wants with TRC report is right there, was presented to the capital. It was deposited at the universities. And the report is online. How can I steal it? What happens to there were other commissioners? Everything is documented. So how can I steal the document that I prepared? Where I stole it from? The archives of the TRC was removed because we knew there were anti-TRC agents in the country who would have targeted the records of the TRC. When the government refused to pay the rent and the landlords were coming and they were planning to throw everything outside. To protect the archives, we negotiated with Emory University to take the archives and hold it until a responsible government in Liberia can request for it. The archives is right in Emory University.
Have there been any requests? We had 2 terms by Madam Sirleaf, now President Weah. Did any of these governments, whether past President, government of past President Sirleaf or current President Weah, request for those documents?
No, there haven't been any requests. I don't think they are interested in it. They are not statesmanly enough to take an honorable position to repatriate the archives to Liberia, to build a facility where the archives will be deposited. Everything is there. So that's why I said I don't respond to Mr. Johnson. You know, he's haunted by his past. He's haunted by the ghosts of the people he killed. You know, so to flee away from the suppression of his conscience, he goes and opens a church. And that's where every Sunday he releases his emotional and psychological pains and lambast. That's what he does.
So
I speak to him.
Go ahead, Nita.
So, Councilor Verde, can there be peace in Liberia for justice? And what peace means for you?
There cannot be peace in Liberia without justice. We have a semblance of peace, but I'd like to say that Liberia is still in transition because we do not have genuine peace yet, and there is no justice. Justice and reconciliation will take place when Liberia addresses the root causes of conflicts in Liberia. Those root causes were identified in the TRC report. When Liberia gets to that point, then we will remove ourselves from the transitional period and we go into the transformational phase. That's why our next president is very, very important. George Weah will never implement the TRC report. Ellen Johnson said it failed too, but they have kept us in transition. We are still in transition from war to peace. We don't have peace yet. So the transition is on. Until they implement those recommendations that identify the root causes of the conflict in Liberia, then Liberia will be on the path to addressing conflict issues.
Can we allow bygone to be bygone? Can we allow bygone to be bygone and move ahead?
Bygone and bygone is personal. And when you speak of a nation state, a group of people, everybody cannot say bygone should be bygone Was your mom killed? Was your brother killed? Was your child killed? Then how can you speak about it? That's your personal issues. Maybe based upon your religious commitment, that you can say, yes, I forgive without any question. But as a nation, you have to address those issues so that they can be deterrents and they are not repeated in the future. We cannot build a nation on impunity. We cannot build the future of a nation on falsehood. We cannot build the future of a nation on corruption, the abuse of power. No. What is happening in Nigeria now is shameful. It's no different from the reasons why we say we killed 13 people in 1980. It's very, very shameful. One, we have an ignorant president who doesn't know his left from his right. It depends on people.
Every president will at some point depend on advisors and people who will help him work the country.
But look at a successful president. Every successful president knows his left and his right. He's conscientious, he is wise, he is educated, he has a plan for his country. Beyond that, he has a heart for his country. It was shocking the report have only 3 missing boys on how they died.
Have you concluded that as well?
Oh yes, it's concluded.
How authentic are your investigations?
Yeah, you can verify it. Authentic because I'm on the ground.
In America?
I'm on the ground in America and Nigeria.
You are everywhere.
It seems to be like
my eyes and my ears. Nigeria is my home, is my country. I've never voluntarily stayed in America or out of Nigeria for more than 3 months. And that's been all these years. I'm still there. People are still there.
now consider
Information once you protect their identity and they know they are safe. You give information. Very, very authentic. Anything I write. Anything. Do I talk like somebody foolishly just about anything? No. Everything I see, everything I write is true.
But some of your reports in the TRC has been criticized and trashed by some of the people accused.
What have this criticized? What is the criticism? I can address the criticism if there's any. But since the TRC, there's been no credible criticism. People only express their personal fears and how they can protect their interests. So I would want to hear a comprehensive or a clear criticism and then I address it. But there has been nothing. So all along, every response here I would say is that people are against the TRC either because of fear. They're afraid that pursuing justice will bring war, or they are trying to protect their interests. Perpetrators, major perpetrators, because of their interest, do not want the TRC. There are some Nigerians who are genuinely afraid that it will reverse the course of things and bring conflict. But that doesn't happen. You have never seen anywhere in the world where people pursue justice and then it leads to conflict. Second to that, the recommendation for prosecution is just one of 140 plus recommendations. And the government has been going in there implementing them small. Man, say, tried to implement about 5 different recommendations. The recommendations on transformation, the Parawa, all of that. Even the dual citizenship is a TRC recommendation.
But it's happening. So there is something positive out of a TRC recommendation. Well, now you have dual citizenship.
You are not doing it within the context of the TRC recommendation, which is meant to promote what? Reconciliation, to promote security and create opportunity.
But can we all agree that did happen? Now there is dual citizenship for Liberians.
Yes, a step forward is not perfect. Not even perfect is not realistic. I mean, they just did something where something has happened. We have something that we can build on. I agree with you.
Now, to that point, Councillor, if I will hold you there, the dual citizenship came out of the legislature, which the president already signed into law, and you welcoming that because it was a recommendation from the TRC.
Now, you talk about TRC implementation when it comes to war crimes code or prosecution. President Weah has now asked the legislature to advise him as a means of saying, I will implement this if it is the call from the Liberian people. The Liberian people, permanent representatives are on Capitol Hill. When they advise me, I will pick it up from there. Do you think that was the way going forward? Looking at the fact that dual citizenship also came from the legislature, which has been signed into law already by the president. Can we say the legislature can advise the president on the way to go in the issue of the War and Economics Crime Code?
That is a classical lack of leadership. That is passing the buck. The president is the executive. The legislature is the legislature. That's one separate arm of government. It doesn't advise the president. The only time advice comes to when he is appointing officials, that's when the Constitution says they can advise, consent. That's it. Anything less than that is passing the ball. He is being less of a president.
Why is Councillor Verda so angry with the Judge Weah government?
Is that anger? To speak the truth to power is anger? I'm not angry. I'm not angry at all. But I have the right to be angry. If you are ruling the country the way it is, our people are so poor. I'm in touch with people in Nigeria. There's something to be angry about. And then you come to power in less than 1 year. You steal the reserve, that much reserves, 150 million plus that ain't just enough there. And you build condominiums for yourself. Are you happy with it? That's a cause for me to be angry. If you come to power based upon billions of Liberian dollars being missing, and you convert to US dollars, you run the rate was very, very high. And then you build your properties, you improve, you build, you demolish your old nonsense, and you put new ones there based upon the treasury. I have the right to be angry. If you're not angry, then that's a problem. I'm angry at that. I'm not personally angry, but I have cause to be angry. I'm a child of God. I'm composed. My anger is righteous. And then you have people dying. Look at this couple girl who died recently. The family objected to the autopsy. What did the government say? Okay, you can choose your own and we pay. When the family got ready, what happened? Government ignored them and told them we're not here for that. And increased the impression that a government official was involved in the death of that girl.
Is it clear who's the government official? It's just
it
gives an impression.
Yeah, it gives an impression. Yeah, I have not even investigated that one yet.
Somebody may say Councillor Verrier is tough on the Weah's administration because he don't have a seat at the table. What will you say to that?
So I'm a tough on the Helen Johnson City government. Yeah, I have a seat at the table. I was tough on the interim government. Yeah, I have a seat at the table. I was tough on President Taylor. Yeah, I have the seat at the table to the point that Taylor offered me a job in his government. And when his emissary scheme, I said, I cannot respond to that except I sit with him personally one-on-one. And I will let him know the conditions upon which I can serve in a government, especially when the government is not popular with the Liberian people. So if he affords the opportunity, we will sit on one-on-one and I will challenge him. If he accepts it, then I will consider the job. But no. So let's sit at the table. To sit at the table with a bunch of buffoons, basically, because we are looking like a leader. What did he do with the Lone Star when he was head of the Lone Star? Look at his private projects he's had all along. Where are they? Do you trust his comprehension, his level of comprehension and intelligence? It's the man who goes to a rally, I think, in Clarendon, and his people are disgruntled and they are grumbling and all of that kind of thing. He say, hey, look, you're still going to be I'm no better than you. You think you can be taught? I'm the biggest talking time.
Somebody may say is connecting with the locals or the people that you used to.
Well, you should distinguish yourself.
Now, Councilor Verdier, let us look at your what your core has you or you're working, like you already admitted that you're working with these people out here to make sure they are targeted sanctions. 3 close allies of WEA were targeted, sanctioned, and they were suspended, now turning their resignation. Are you glad that your work is yielding? Can you say your work is yielding results?
I'm glad that the United States have paid attention to Liberia. I'm glad that the United States and the international community is just fed up with the nonsense that is going on in governance. Can you imagine there's a fund established called the Road Fund? What did the government of Liberia do? They went in there and took it off. After now, there's no accounting for what they did with that money. There was a time the finance minister came up and said, well, strategic borrowing. There was a fund, a consolidated fund created by the international community just to support Liberia. They went in there and took some power. People connected the government with it so that the government of Liberia can uphold its dignity as a sovereign nation. That doesn't mean it gives you authority to use the fund the way you want to use it. No. So I'm happy, and by the sanctions, there's awareness. By the sanctions, government officials are aware. Now that the international community is watching, and they will be accountable. Do you know that every sanction designation is a potential indictment for a crime? They all will be prosecuted. Yes, those are criminal indictments. If they don't know, I'm telling them for free. Those are criminal indictments.
Are there more names that you're working with? Do we expect more names? Did you work with the? Did you work with those outside here? Can you take glory for working with them in making sure that McGill, Twawe, and CFOs get sanctioned?
There are more to come. There are more sanctions to come. Those 3 are just the tip of the iceberg. I'm not taking glory for anything. To God be the glory. God loves our country, and the way we are running our country.
But can you confirm that this is actually the work of Jerome Verrier's hands that is unfolding?
I told you. I said when I went to DC, I had an interview with you, and I said it. I said, what are you doing here? I said, that's what I'm here for. And it's been 2 years. I'm on Liberian radio, on school radio. And I said it. I said it months ago. I think you can finish for sanctions for 2 years and there will be sanctions. Sanctions are coming. I said it repeatedly, my brother. You know, and I'm telling you today, there will be more because it's not just 3 names. To the extent, I think Sport was telling me to get the names of some people. I said, everybody knows to be corrupt, including assisting ministers and deputy ministers. Everybody knows to be a human rights violator is a potential sanction here.
You care to say whether the names that are expected? You care to say some of those that are expected to come, or you want it to just come as a surprise to Liberia?
I just said, my brother, if somebody is corrupt, you can expect that there will be sanction. If somebody involved in human rights violations and killing people and all of that, you can expect that there will be sanction. But I don't work for the American government. It's the American government that will make that kind of pronouncement on whose names it is. I don't have the authority to speak on their behalf. Okay, but even to spoke of yes, that we were involved. Now I submitted even a list to the American government, not to tell you, just to tell you how far it went.
And some of those who got the recent hate were on that list. Were they?
Well, they are corrupt and evil people. You know, and their names have been on several lists even before I submitted sanction lists.
Including them?
So, I'm seeing their names have been on other lists even before we submitted a sanction list.
Okay.
And they are being identified as rogue elements within the government.
Now,
who do not mean good for the public service. Yes.
Now, as a lawyer, I believe that you're one person who believes in the tenets of the rule of law. There is no one that we can say that there is something that accused until proven guilty. Do you think that based on that, these people will need a day in court? Do you think that the U.S. government should give them the opportunity to have their say, to hear them out, to exonerate themselves where possible?
One thing we all should know, America is a democracy that has been existing for more than 200 years. America doesn't use power absolutely. All of those sanctions have an opportunity to defend themselves. And I said it on a Liberian radio station recently. They can just walk to the American embassy and say, I've been sanctioned and I want to get my name delisted. I want to provide defense for myself. And you have given them the opportunity. And if you read the sanction document, it's just there. If you have issue with what we have done, here's the website. You can go to it. And if you don't want to go to the website, you can go to the American embassy and register their position. And Washington will designate somebody to sit with them and hear their side.
Okay.
Okay. But
and do you think that's necessary?
Oh yeah, they're trying to defend themselves as much as they feel.
So one of our viewers is saying, Mr. Host, please ask Mr. Jerome Verdier Sr. why is he not answering to the Prince Johnson allegation against the TRC report?
Which allegation against the TRC report? I told him. He said, well, I stole documents. And there are no documents that I stole. The TRC report is comprehensive. And before I left, when we prepared the reports, we gave the legislature 52 copies. So it's there in the library of the legislature. So all they need to do is to go. The report is there. So I produced a report and I took a part of the report. When the report is printed, the report is online. That's nonsense.
Do you think it's the iCard that you said is here in the U.S. that Senator Johnson is referring to as the stolen documents?
Well, I see. And that's what he's talking about when you replay it. You see TRC records. But there was eviction on the TRC, and those documents have to be taken out of there. Otherwise, they would have thrown them in the street. Fine for him, that's what he's talking about. But I heard him before, and he said, what? I took a sheet or a page out of the report. Some of us read and we don't have comprehension. Okay, and he's saying is that the library people said they don't want war crimes court. That's why I overheard this thing. And so I took on that saying until that library people have the report. Can you imagine that kind of patience?
So, Councilor Vernon, finally, we almost out of time as we wrap it up. When will we get to see those reports on the quote-unquote investigations you've done? You named the missing 3 boys, the lady who was killed or who died in the street around here, Princess Cooper, and all of those. I don't know what other ones he's referring to, but when do the Liberian people?
Yeah, has a girlfriend at the NC's commissioner.
Those are strong ones.
Very true. And now they have been finalized. It's the medium for getting them out that is being considered.
It's just calling a press conference and releasing to the public. Let the people know what you have.
Going to go back to Liberia to do that.
Oh, so can you host the press conference?
KMTV except your press conference once it is paid for. We had you.
Okay, then that's a possibility. We can consider that.
Or are you trying to work with those you're working with, give them the detailed information here in Washington, or your international partners before coming to Liberian people?
Everybody knows. I've told people what's in the report, especially for the 3 missing boys. I've told them. I mentioned Mervyn early. They said he killed himself by shooting himself 3 different times. Did a man shoot himself 3 different times with a bullet? They work hard to run out of the country. He's not in Liberia. the killing of Yinswa, the auditor, and all those other auditors. And before we talk about Ms. Cooper, everything the government hands is in all these messages, and they are just doing nothing but what? Cover up.
And we're gonna see this. We're gonna see this report with our evidence and not just throwing our allegation. Is that something?
Let me tell you, I'm not making allegations. Every report is meant to preserve history. There will be prosecution coming up. So you want to see the witnesses? You want the witnesses to appear before you?
Not necessarily.
Is that what you want?
We are not a court.
Fine. So then what hard evidence you talking about?
You
It's all in the public, those 3 missing boys have been missing.
And they are still missing. They are still missing as far as the public is concerned. And but you are alleging or saying that they are dead, or what led to their death and all of that?
They are dead, and I will tell you what led to their death.
All right, Councilor Verdia, Liberians are listening.
As an investigator, I'm a lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
We preserve evidence for court, for prosecution. No prosecutor will come and tell you everything before. Because by the time people hear and they start allocating witnesses, changing their Gucci shoes, getting rid of it because somebody said they saw the shoes that had managed to identify another person.
Wow.
All those things happen, so we have to preserve evidence for the time. If you sure the government was a credible government, I can tell you there would have been a lot of good cases for our man. But it's not.
All right, Councilor Verdia, thanks for, taking time off your busy schedule to join us on the Diaspora Talk. We're here every Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. And like I said, it was just very short notice, and you agreed to come on, especially to respond to statements coming from Senator Prince Johnson and other issues. You've already clarified openly that you're working with people in Washington to make sure Liberia gets targeted sanctions, and you're happy that it's not yielding results. You hope more to come and the rest of that. Is there a final message you want to leave with the Liberian people as we take leave of you?
Yeah, basically, I don't take Prince Johnson seriously, and nobody should. If other people do, that's fine. I have no reason to go into political propaganda. I'm not a politician. I have no affiliation, no association, no dealing whatsoever with Mr. Cummings or the creators of that video. I speak, and like I said, I was on the media and I spoke that we has 8,000 strong militia that he wants to use to suppress the Liberian people in case he loses the elections and they want him out. I said it publicly on different media institutions. So I'm not into propaganda. I'm into reviewing truth. The TRC report is there. I have done several publications. And I said we presented a document to the government of Korea 2 years ago, calling for electoral reform before elections. They ignore it. And I'm telling you now, I'm going to present that to the international community. Subsequently, calling for electoral reform before elections so that we do not have conflicts over and doubts over the results. But the results will reflect the true verdict of the Liberian people. So that there can be no electoral conflict. Yeah, so basically our country is a very good country, and we know that God's hands is upon the country. And we pray for the good of Liberia. We came there and tried his luck. He has failed. Liberian people should look somewhere else. Try any of the other persons who want to be president. They are full. And fortunately for us, all 4 of them seem to be confident, and they are all professionals. We need technocrats to change the things around in Liberia. Otherwise than that, we will continue in this vicious cycle of poverty and underdevelopment. We wish that God will bless Liberia. Thank you very much for hosting me. Please call me anytime. And once I'm available or I can sacrifice the time to come, I will come. I appreciate your platform.
Thank you so much, Councilor Verdia. People consider Jerome Verdia, formerly of the TRC, that's the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, former chairman that is of the TRC. You heard him right there responding. Later, I know it was indeed. We never expected less than that.
Councilor Jerome Verdia is never shy away from controversy. So he speak his mind. Looking at the issue, he said that he don't take Prince Johnson seriously. He said that he's been uh, lobbying for targeted
sessions for Liberians.
Yeah,
those he termed as corrupt.
Corruption, human rights abuse, and stuff like that. He also made some grave allegation on election rigging that President George Weah has planted seeds within the Elections Commission. His girlfriend, he named one Sion who is a commissioner, and so these are things he said he's going to inform the world about. So they should be watchful during election time. As you know, this coming election 2023 is very crucial to Liberia, and George Weah wants to maintain
his seat for a second
term. So Councillor Verda was on that. He also supported in some kind of way the video that was on. He said these are things he's been talking. He said President George Weah is training 8,000 militia to protect.
So he said he's not directly in connection with the production of the video, but in passive from his explanation, it shows that he support what that guy said.
What he said he had been saying.
Like,
okay, these are things that for him. And he also said there can be no peace without justice. Looking at the TRC report, he denied the allegation of taking any document as alleged by Prince Johnson from in that TRC report. He said they issued 54 plus copies to the
legislature, to the university. It's online. And but he talked about the archive of the TRC being in the US, and he gave a reason why, because the TRC was to be thrown out of that building. They were afraid that documents were going to go missing, so they decided to preserve it at a university here in the U.S. And since then, no government, be it the Salid government, the government of President Weah, none of them, set an effort in retrieving those documents to have an archive for the TRC. And there were a lot of money spent on the TRC, though. So people should be able to go back and see what those documents are. There were high-code videos of appearances of people who participated in the war, witnesses.
I watched some of the videos, the appearance of Roosevelt Johnson, Charles Taylor. It's on YouTube, so sometimes I just sit and listen to them.
So some of those who appeared before the TRC, that was when I watched the real saying of the war from Senator Prince Johnson, his role in the war. So you need to go and listen to that there. Sometimes it was controversial. Witnesses, like if you watch the appearance of Siri Allen, is very interesting.
I listened to
he was blunt.
So put in prison, and
so those are real documents, that he said were retrieved from Liberia and saved over here, but it will take a government to request those. So it was a wonderful time here on Diaspora Talk today. If you've been there, we'd like to say thanks for watching, thanks for listening. If you're listening to us on KM Radio, because this program is also aired live on KM Radio, the Android app is already on. Very soon the ISO will be out. That those of you with your iPhones, your iPads, your computers, you can be able to,
everything is
everything. So we'll soon get an iPhone thing. We already have the Android, so you can get it. Search KMTV on your Android app. That's your Google Play Store. You're gonna have it there. So until Wednesday,
thank our sponsors.
Our sponsors, we can go out saying thanks to the Transhill Bible Church. They are associating with us, and also the Infotech Computer, sales and hardware center, where you can go and have all of your computer works done. You can buy the best of computers there.
As you see, we have some of
as a matter of fact, most of the laptops, computers you see here, the desktop and everything we use for our studio production is from Infotech. It's there in Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. Just check in with Sam. He's a very nice individual. He can help you out.
No sepay.
It's straight to any brand, any kind you want, he gave them to you. He worked on any brand and kind as well. So we'll be here on Wednesday with another fascinating show. We hope that you join us from wherever you find yourself. My name is Cyrus McGee, and my colleague Nathan Childs, who will be here to bring you another
edition of Diaspora Talk. We are situated in Brooklyn Center in the 5901 building on Brooklyn Boulevard in Brooklyn Center. You can walk in here and do business with us. We will do promotion for your businesses, your goods and services. Let the public know exactly what you're into. Until Wednesday, have yourself a wonderful time. God bless you, and God bless Mama Liberia. Do have yourself a safe time out there.
When the issues of Liberia hit the news,
What is it that we, the Liberian people, want?
the Liberian communities in the diasporas are not left out. That's why Diaspora's Talk is back on your screens on KMTV. In fact, the United Party is not cohesive. Its social, political, economic, and other issues affecting Liberia and the diaspora Liberian communities.
I did not expect to even make it to Hollywood.
Joan Cyrus McGee and Nathan Charles every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, live on KMTV, Facebook, and YouTube.
I want to be arrested in the midst of my people.
As they discuss the issues, blend the voices from Liberia and the diaspora Liberian communities.
And speak the truth on what is happening.
For sponsorship, call cell numbers 612-806-5896, 816-433-3979, or better still, email us at usakmtv@gmail.com. Diaspora Talk, don't miss out.